The following is my response to someone on the subreddit asking about fear of the astral plane. First, in my opinion, fear is not your enemy. It is a part of each of us and is there to protect us. Example, running from a burning house. Fear only harms us when it is misplaced. Unfortunately, what is scary is influenced by TV, movies, and the internet. An example I like to give are shadow entities. Why is a being composed of darkness as opposed to light scary? It is a being's behavior that defines their intent, not the way that they look. By the way, fear can definitely hold you back. I first astral projected in the late 70s before there was an internet, and it literally scared the hell out of me. This wasn't because anything scary happened. It was simply because at the time, I didn't understand exactly what was happening. That fear stayed with me through my teenage years, but back then I'd astral project involuntarily when I laid down to take naps. I saw things that scared me, but over time that fear got less and less. For me, getting through the fear was about going out of my body despite the fear, and after a while I simply got used to it. So I recommend that you take the time to speak to your fear as if it is a person. Well, I wish I'd done this back then. Going over all the things that you fear with it. Say these things you fear out loud and listen to yourself. Do these things you fear sound rational? Or are they things you've read on this subreddit or seen on TV or a movie? To be clear, once you AP or astral project, you may see some unusual and scary things in your perception. But understand that it is simply that, your perception. Think about it. Take care and good luck. And that was it. I'm hoping that this was helpful to this person. So, first, I want you to think of these things regarding fear rationally, first and foremost. You need to ask yourself, why are you afraid of whatever it is that you fear? Does it make sense? Is it because you saw a horror movie or someone on the internet claimed that something scary happened to them? I can tell you that the scariest beings to me are the beings that are flesh and blood. Look at what is happening in the world. I have never met a being on the astral plane that wanted to rob or murder me. And yet, during my time working as an assistant manager at a movie theater, and by the way, I don't think I've ever talked about this on this channel and never talked about this incident, I was held up at gunpoint and forced to give the robber our night deposit money. I think that fears regarding the astral plane are misplaced. So, in regards to this, I want you to try this exercise, please. And that's if you're interested in traveling to the astral plane, or I would even say shifting or any kind of experience, because all of these experiences can have a scary element to them. So I want you to get into a comfortable place and, close your eyes. Picture the fear inside as an actual being. Now, you can make this person look any way you like, whatever eye color, whatever race, whatever gender, doesn't have to have a gender, whatever you want. That's what you should picture your fear as. Okay? Then I want you to sit down in this imaginary place when you're imagining your fear to be this person and look fear, literally look fear in the eyes. Out loud, I want you to tell the things you are afraid of. Tell fear those things. Now, it is important to speak out loud so that you can hear these fears with your own ears. First question to ask yourself: do these fears sound rational? Do they make sense? Or did you happen to see a movie or television show that featured these fears? And I can think of quite a few that are out there that could make you afraid. Second question: will you allow these fears to stop you from experiencing the astral plane or what's beyond it? First, astral projection isn't for everybody. There are those that simply want to live their normal lives out on this planet, and there is no shame in that. I want to repeat this because I'm not trying to put folks that aren't interested in doing this down. There is no shame in not wanting to experience astral projection. It is, it's a very, well, it can be a very scary thing depending on the person that's experiencing it. But to allow fear on its own to stop you, in my opinion, would be a shame, because specific fears are something we conjure inside and has nothing to do with what the actual experience is, at least in my opinion. Remember, fear is not the enemy. It is a part of us. We simply need to learn to communicate with this, with fear. And, you know, to kind of end this episode, I want to talk about an incident that happened that I have talked about before on this channel. It seems that all my memories in astral projection, shifting or whatever, they are memories, and they can just come to me. I don't need to look at something or read something that I wrote most of the time. It's a memory. But I remember I was a teenager. Again, you have to remember this is late 70s or early 80s. I was laying down to take a nap sometime in the early afternoon. I did that sometimes, even when I was a teenager. And when I shut my eyes, I started to astral project. Now, this was not intentional. Back then, if you've been listening to my channel, you know that there were times when it was involuntary and it just happened. It was spontaneous. So it started happening. I started emerging from my body, and I turned to my right side as I was coming out of my body, and I saw a being, a male spirit being, come through my wall, the wall in my room, walk past me, and then disappear through another wall. And it scared the living crap out of me. I'm just being honest. It scared me good. But when I thought about it, when I sat down and truly thought about it, which is why I always say, if you have fear with this stuff, sit down and think rationally for just a moment. Think rationally. When I sat down and thought about it, and I was recalling the incident, I thought, wait, this being who had this greenish glow, the spirit being had this greenish glow, did not even look at me, did not pay any attention to me, just walked right by me like I wasn't there, and was more than likely in his own world and didn't have any interest in me. So the question, why was I afraid? And that's the question that you need to ask yourself when it comes to shadows. This is the whole shadow entity. Darkness has nothing to do with evil, by the way. It's something that we have in, unfortunately, because of movies and other things, people think that it does, but I don't believe that it does at all. Anyway, think about that experience I shared with you. And I want you to do this exercise if you are interested in going out there and experiencing something, but you are experiencing fear. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. And until next time, take care.